Traveling to see a new part of the world or going to visit friends and family can be exciting to think about, but doing so flying alone for the first time can be nerve-wracking. So in this video, I'm going to share some tips that will help you calm your nerves and anxiety so that you can have the best experience possible. Let's go.
Dream vacations start here.
So I'm going to be honest, the airport can be a very hectic, intimidating, and at times confusing environment, especially if you're going to be traveling alone for the first time. But the key to making your first time flying alone as easy as possible is preparation and knowing what to expect. So the tips I'm going to be sharing with you will accomplish both of those things. This will actually be a two-part series. Today's video will be tips on how to prepare before you go to the airport, and then the next video will be tips on what to expect once you're at the airport. So let's start with tips on how to prepare before you go to the airport, and I want to start with the booking process, specifically when choosing your seat. Since you'll be flying alone for the first time, you want to have the most comfortable experience possible. Now, depending on which airline you're flying on, you may have to pay extra to choose your seat, or if you're flying Southwest, they have open seating and do not offer assigned seats. But if you do have the option to choose your seat, you have some options. First, I think we can all agree, and in fact, I don't know anyone who enjoys flying in the middle seat, so we'll eliminate that option. So you're left with a window seat or an aisle seat. The pros of the aisle seat are that you may get a little bit of extra legroom, and you won't have to bother anyone if you need to get up and use the restroom or move around the cabin. The pros of the window seat are that you're able to lean against the wall of the cabin, which can help you sleep or rest better, and of course, take it into view. The next tip I have for you when booking your flight is to beware of short connection times. If you're booking a flight that has a connection, make sure you give yourself plenty of time to make your next flight. With it being your first time flying alone, I would give yourself 2 to 3 hours between flights. This will account for any delays that might occur and give you time to find the gate of your next flight. What you want to avoid is the chance to miss your connecting flight. Now, the airline will rebook you free of charge if you should miss your connecting flight, but the bad news is that could be the next day. If you're flying international with a connection, definitely give yourself at least 3 hours. In some cases, you may have to go through security again, go through customs, and of course, gates can always change. So giving yourself time to accomplish these tasks will help alleviate some stress and making sure you make your next flight. The other thing that you want to check is your ID. If you're traveling internationally, it's important to note that most destinations require that your passport be valid at least 6 months after the final day of your planned trip. For domestic flights within the U.S., you can use a passport to get through security, but there are other forms of ID that you can use as well. The most common one being your driver's license. If you're going to be using your driver's license, it's important to know that starting on May 3rd, 2023, you will need a real ID license to be able to get through security. And all real ID is that it has added security measures on the license. To see if your license is real ID compliant, look for a star at the top of the card. I'll also add a full list of acceptable IDs down in the video description that you can use to get through security. The next tip I have for you is to make copies of your important documents. If you were to lose your ID or passport, having a copy of these items can help you get through security or get a replacement passport. Taking a picture of these items with your phone will work, and I would suggest leaving a copy with a friend or relative just in case you were to lose your phone as well. Another tip I have for you is to download the app for the airline you'll be flying on. On the app, you'll be able to check in and receive important notifications about your flight, including gate numbers, gate changes, delays, cancellations, and any restrictions for the destination you're going to. You can also make changes to your flight if you need to. So if you experience a delay and know that you're going to be missing your connecting flight, the app will give you a list of later flights that you can take, and you can make changes on the app without having to stand in a long line waiting for an airline agent to change your flight. The next thing you want to do before you head to the airport is avoid packing at the last minute. Packing at the last minute will only add stress to a stressful situation. Packing ahead will give you peace of mind that you haven't forgotten anything. You may also want to think about what type of luggage you will be taking with you. There are 3 types of luggage you can take with you: a checked bag, a carry-on bag, and a personal item bag. A checked bag is going to be for longer trips where you're going to need a large suitcase. These types of suitcases will be too big to carry on the plane with you and will have to be stored under the plane's luggage compartment. Most airlines charge a fee for checking a bag, usually between $35 and $50, and even more if you want to check a second bag. For shorter trips, you may only need what's called a carry-on bag. This type of luggage will be small enough to fit in the overhead storage bins on the airplane, which means your luggage will be with you at all times. The benefit of packing a carry-on is that you can go straight to the security lines when you arrive at the airport, as long as you have checked in for your flight and received your boarding pass. Plus, you won't have to wait for the airline to unload your luggage from underneath the plane, as you will already have your luggage with you. A personal item bag is going to be a book bag, a purse, a laptop bag, anything that will be able to fit under the airline seat. And just note, you're only allowed one carry-on and one personal item on the plane per passenger. The next tip I have for you is to get a good night's sleep the night before your flight. If you know you're going to spend a good amount of time at the airport and on the plane, having a good night's sleep can help with stress and your mood, especially if issues come up regarding your flight. You may think to yourself that you can just sleep on the plane, but if you've never flown on a plane before, trying to sleep on a plane is uncomfortable, especially when you're sitting next to strangers. I myself do not sleep well on planes, but here are a couple of tips for you. First, neck pillows or a jacket to lay your head on can help a lot. Even if you don't end up sleeping, it can make the experience more comfortable. Also, noise-canceling headphones can help eliminate distractions and noises inside the airplane to help you rest. Another thing to consider is the clothes you'll be wearing while traveling. It's best to wear clothes you feel comfortable in. It's also helpful to dress in layers. Planes can get cool, so you want to be able to adapt to different temperatures. Here are some items you should wear at the airport. Easy to remove shoes and socks, because you will need to take off your shoes when going through security, unless you're okay walking barefoot through the gross airport floor. And soft, light fabrics like cotton. Some things you may want to avoid is heavy or constricting fabrics and wearing tons of layers. You will end up having to take off every jacket and sweatshirt off at security. Another tip I have for you is to have a plan to get to your destination after you land. As a solo traveler, it's important to keep your safety as your top concern, especially if you're going to be traveling to another country. Research the forms of public transportation you can use and have cash into local currency, and avoid choosing flights that land at night. To go along with this, have a plan for using your phone at your destination. If you're traveling internationally, you can't always predict you'll be able to connect to Wi-Fi. Most phone plans these days include international texting, but for international calls, you'll most likely have to add an international phone plan, which can be bought on a daily or monthly basis from the cell provider you use. The fees aren't fun, but it's most important that you're able to reach people if you need to. Make sure you check out the next video in this two-part series where I'll share some tips on what you can expect at the airport if you're going to be flying alone for the first time. Just click or tap the screen to view it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.